Hello everyone. Hey, it's Bev Filer with stxc Creations. You can dream it, I can create it. And I am here tonight to show you how to do some attachments, flags, signs, and just a lot of different things. Maybe most of you already know how to do this, but I'm just going to show you how I do it. But let's just give a few minutes and see if we have a few people jump on. Hope everyone is having a good Saturday evening. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's see. If everyone is here. Listen guys, when you log on, say hi and tell me where you're from. And let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. It is a beautiful Saturday day, blue skies, rather cool here, surprisingly for almost the middle of May. But it's been really, really nice here today. So let's go ahead and get started. So if a lot of people saw my last Facebook Live that I did this past Monday, I showed you how to make this patriotic grapevine wreath, and I had attached the flags and the ribbon and of course the flowers. And I had a few people contact me asking me, how do I attach the flags to the wreaths? So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to take this one off and let me put a fresh grapevine wreath up here. So let's put this one up here. Okay, hope everyone can see that okay. All right, so I'm going to show you how to attach one, and then I'll show you how I attach two. Now I did have someone ask me, why did I attach two flags? Well, I just like the look of two flags personally, so that's the reason why. But we're going to do one, and then I'll show you how I do the second one. So if everyone has seen these flags, I mean, you can get these anywhere. They're, you know, a couple dollars. This is probably one of the largest ones I've seen. But, and they all have, you know, they've been stapled onto the stick. So what I usually will do is I will take a zip tie, and about halfway up towards the top, I will put my zip tie through that hole. Okay, so between the wood and the fabric. Hi Rhonda. Hey, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining me. So anyway, I personally do not like the look of the, you know, the raw edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to roll it like so, and I'm going to run a bead of hot glue all the way down. And what that's going to do on the front, it's going to have a nice clean edge, and you're not going to be able to see that raw edge or the staples. Okay, so let me put this back in here, and we're just going to roll this. Actually, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to roll this, and I'm just going to run a bead of hot glue right down like that, and we're going to roll this and catch that stick right like that. Okay, and so that's going to adhere to the back, and it's going to give you a nice clean edge right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my zip tie and I'm going to run that up through the fabric. So it's going to be between the fabric and the stick. Just like that. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball how I want this positioned. So, of course, I'm going to have a lot of stick down here. So I'm just going to eyeball this, see how far up I want this to go. And I'm going to take my pliers here, or my wire cutters, and I'm going to cut off the wood. And usually you can just put a little crease in there and it will snap right off, just like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to weave the stick down into the grapevine. And then up here, I'm going to take, let me move this forward so everyone can see it. And I'll show you the back side of this. I'm going to show you just how easy this is. Okay. So, you can see this is zip tied up here. You see how it's zip tied, and I try to find, you know how the grapevines are wrapped? I'll try to grab one of those and zip tie that there. Down here at the bottom, the stick is woven through the grapevine. Now I do have some extra sticking out here, so I'm just going to go back in with my pliers, and I'm going to cut that off. There we go. Super easy. So now this flag, believe it or not, just by using this one zip tie up here at the top, this is in there very, very snug. Hi Deb. Hi Debbie. How's Tennessee doing? All right. So that's pretty much it, guys. That is all you have to do to attach a flag to a grapevine. Super simple. This flag is ready to go. Of course, you want to cut off your excess right here of your zip tie. Now, on my last wreath that I did, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Okay, on the last one I did, I had two, kind of like that, okay? So I'm going to do the same process with this, except I am not going to put a zip tie up here. So I'm going to run a bead of glue down here, and I'm going to roll this. So I have a nice clean edge. And this is going to be the back, that will be the front, and you won't see that raw edge or the staples from where the flag is stapled on to the stick. All right. Happy Mother's Day to you, Debbie. Thank you. Hope you guys are going to do something fun tomorrow. So now the next thing we're going to do to attach this, I'm going to line the bottom part of my stick up right at the base, like this. So I'm going to stick that second flag, that stick right next to the first one, and wedge it down into the grapevine. Okay. Now I'm going to take a second zip tie, and I'm going to zip tie the bottom of both of the flag sticks together. Now you're not going to be able to see that zip tie by the time you put your bow and your flowers and everything on. Okay, so you see how that zip tied? All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I've already, since the top on the first flag is already secured, I'm going to run a bead of glue, hot glue, right on the inside of this flag, and I'm going to press that up against the flag that's behind it. And that's it, guys. That is all you have to do. So now you've attached two flags. I always put the first flag a little higher than the second flag, and that's it. That is all you have to do. Super simple. I'm not going to glue this one on, but I just wanted to show you that is how I did. Let me pull my wreath up, the one that I made. Oops. That is how I did here. This is the first, or this is the first flag right here. This is the second flag, and it is hot glued right along here. So I'm telling you, yes, Rhonda, a very simple process, and this flag is not going anywhere, okay? Because the first flag is zip tied onto your grapevine. The second flag is zip tied like, you know, onto the back. Here's the back of that right here. Okay, both sticks are wedged down into your grapevine. Now, if you wanted to have a little bit extra security, you could probably shoot just a little bit of hot glue down in here on the back side, just to give it a little more stability. But I'm telling you guys, the flags are not going anywhere. I have made several of this style wreath last year, and I have one myself. Flag is on there, very sturdy. So that is how you attach a flag to a grapevine wreath. Now you can do this exact same process, excuse me, I dropped my glue gun. You can do this exact same process if you want to attach this flag to a wreath that you use deco mesh. Okay, same process. The only thing you're going to do differently is you're going to zip tie here and up here on the first flag, and you're going to run it through your deco mesh and zip tie it onto the frame. Okay, the wire work frame, and that's it. That's how simple this process is. And last year I made a wreath that had 3 flags. So I had the first, the second, and the third. And it looked very, very pretty. And you don't see a lot of wreaths with multiple flags on there. And then once you get your flowers on, your ribbon, you know, your bow and everything, I mean, you're done. That is how simple this is. So I hope that is helpful for you guys. But since a lot of people were asking me, how did I do just the flag, I decided, hi Michelle, hey girl, how's it going? I decided I'm just going to show you some other items that how I attach them to my wreath. Now for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a grapevine wreath. But the same principle that I use on my grapevine wreath is the same way I would attach them to a deco mesh wreath. Okay, you're just going to weave whatever your wire or your zip tie or whatever through the deco mesh and zip it onto the wire ring on the back. Okay, so but just for tonight, to make it easy for everyone, I'm going to use the grapevine wreath for demonstration purposes. Okay, so if you guys have any questions about how I attach the flags, please feel free to leave me a question. And if I don't get to it while we're live, I always go back and read every comment and I'll answer your questions, okay? So let's move on to something else. So, okay, the next thing I want to show you are the heavy wood items. Now this one came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure everyone has seen this cross. It's a beautiful cross. It's a thick wood and it's very heavy, okay? This one has the picture hook already on the back, okay? But that's not enough to secure it on, especially if you wanted to do something at an angle or if you wanted to go straight up and down, okay? So what I always do on the thick wood is I'm going to use the eye hook. If you can see that, okay? It just screws right in. And some wood, now this is a hardwood, so I'm going to have to start a pilot hole first to get this started. But if you have a sign that's made out of balsa wood, that's a very soft wood. Cedar is a very hard wood. There's not very many signs. Oak is a hardwood. So a lot of signs, especially signs that we get from people who make signs, it's usually a balsa wood, and that's a much thinner wood. So I'm going to show you how to attach those too. But with a thick wood like this, I always use an eye hook. Okay, so since this is hardwood, I need to start a pilot hole. And all that is, I'm not going to use a drill. What I do is I take a screwdriver with the Phillips head on it. Okay, this is an extra pointed head, and my trusty hammer. And depending on how I want to place this, like for example, this one I will probably want to place it at an angle. So I'm going to want to put an eye hook here, and one down here. Now you can use this if you want, but since it's going to be more towards the center, there's really no need to use it. Now what you could do is you can unscrew this and move it up. So you're only having to use 2 of the eye hooks instead of 3. But I'm not going to remove this because I really don't know where I want to use this, so I'm just going to demonstrate. So I just lay this down flat, and this is the way I do it, okay? And I'm just going to, I hope you guys can see this, but I'll show you. I just place this on top, give it a couple good taps, and that automatically starts my pilot hole, okay? And then from there, just pop that in, and automatically it just glides right in. You're not having to use a needle nose plier. You're not putting stress on your fingers. And I'm not going to screw it all the way in, but I just want to show you that is in. Okay, and like I said, if I wanted to put this at an angle, I would put one here at the top and then at the bottom. And then if you, now this is going to be in really good, but if you want to give it just a little extra stability, I would just shoot a little bit of hot glue right around the base where the eye hook meets the wood and let it set up. And then you're going to take your chenille stem. Now you can also use zip tie if you want. And you're just going to run that through. Okay. Give it a couple good twists. Feed it through your grapevine. And then tie it off in the back. And that's how simple that is. So just remember, if you're going to use a heavy, heavy piece of wood, you always want to go with your eye hooks, okay? It's going to last longer. And once that hook is in there, it's not going to come out. So that's what I do for the heavy wood. Now, if I'm going to have a thin piece of wood, like this one, for example, okay? And I'm sure everyone has seen this. This one is made by JV Crafts. Viola and her boyfriend make these, and they make beautiful signs. And they're all ready made. And what Viola does, what I like, is she puts, now this is balsa wood, or similar to balsa wood. It's a very soft wood. And she puts these already on there. So, you know, if I wanted to place this in the center, or if I wanted to put it at an angle, these are already on there. And I like how Viola does that. So since this is thin wood, now I could definitely use, since this is a thick piece right here, if you can see how thick that is, and she's attached that on there, I could do an eye hook through that as well, using the same process I did with this. But what I have done is, I get a piece of felt, about 1 inch long, maybe a 1/2 inch wide, all right? And what I will do is I'll bend my chenille stem in half, so I'm finding the center point, okay? And I'll do that, all right? And I'll take my hot glue, and I will put hot glue all over the back, all right? And then I'm going to place that right on top and press that down, like so. Now once this sets up, I'll go back with my staple gun. Now I don't have my staple gun with me, but this will work. And I will pop a few staples in there longwise like that. So not only do you have the hot glue holding this down, you've got some staples in there. This puppy is not going anywhere. Trust me, I have mounted a lot of signs using this method. And but a lot of the signs that I get that are not from Viola are just like this, okay? And you can see how thin that wood is. Okay, you can't use a staple gun on that. That staple's going to come right through that wood. So you're going to use this process right here with a piece of felt, your chenille stem, and your hot glue. And you're going to put those wherever you need, depending on how you want to place it on your grapevine wreath, or your wreath that you're using, your deco mesh. So that's a real easy process for the thin signs like this, or the type of signs that Viola makes where she puts the little pieces of wood. And again, this wood is very soft. Matter of fact, let me show you how easy it is. Okay, I'm not even going to put my pilot hole in here. I'm just going to find the center. I'm going to lay this down flat, put a little pressure, and this wood is soft enough where all I got to do is I can screw it right in. Now I'm not going to screw it all the way in, but I just want to show you. See? I mean, it's really simple. And Viola is, now if you don't like these on here, you can tell her and she'll leave them off, but all of her signs come with this little piece of wood on the back. And that's JV Crafts. She's here locally in San Antonio. Her first name is Viola. And Viola, if you happen to be watching, I'm sorry, but I can't remember what your boyfriend's name is. But I know it's a J. So, but they do wonderful work. And I will post a link to their page. Now, I have 3 people that I actually buy my signs from. JV Crafts is one. The other one is Barbara from Barbara's Door Decor and More. She does a lot of my Halloween signs. I don't know if you go back and look at some of my pictures from this past Halloween where I did Jack Skellington, and she did my Jack Skellington signs. And Barbara's very, very good. All you gotta do is shoot her over a picture and she will duplicate that for you as close as she can. And I mean, I've put her to the test many times. So Barbara is another really good one. And then Dora from Dora's Wood Ideas. She's another really, Dora is fabulous. I love Dora to death. She's very easy to work with. If you have an idea, you can just shoot that over to her and she will, work with you to come up with a design for something. She'll paint the wood for you, or she will send you just the raw wood. And she will even, kind of walk you through the instructions on painting it yourself. That saves you some money because she's not having to paint it. And actually, that's the way I buy my signs from Dora. She just cuts out the wood. Matter of fact, let me show you what she cut for me. Let me see if I can find it. Now, you know what? I got to thinking, I don't know if this was Dora or if this was Barbara, but this is my cow, pig, and chicken that she cut for me. And it's just the raw wood, and I'm painting this myself. So, so those are the 3 people that I use. JV Crafts, Viola, Barbara from Barbara's Door Decor and More, and Dora from Dora Woods Ideas. And I will post a link to all 3 of their websites. Okay? So now the next thing I want to show you is if you have a sign that's made out of metal. Okay? Like these 2 right here. All right, now this is metal, and this is metal. Okay, now how are you gonna mount these? Well, there's really actually only one way to do it that I have found. Now this one has the holes already in, but I'm not going to use that because I don't want my chenille stem to show. All I got to do is pop that through the hole like so. And I could, attach it to my wreath that way. But sometimes I don't want my chenille stem to show. So I'm going to do the exact same process that I did with this. I'm going to get my felt, my chenille stem. Okay, let me show you again. You're going to get you a piece of felt. It's about 1 inch long, 1/2 inch wide. And what I always do is I bend this in half so I get the center point. I'll place that down in the center, kind of bend it like this, and then I'll put some hot glue right here. And then I will place that on the back of right on the back, okay, just like that. Super easy. Because when you're talking about metal signs, there's really not a whole lot you can do. So I find this to be a very easy way to attach it to my wreath, whether it's a grapevine or the deco mesh wreath. Now, this one here has a handle at the top. Now, you could certainly use the handle if you were going to use this on a deco mesh. You can use that and tuck this up inside the deco mesh, okay? And just use your chenille stem through the hole that's provided, and you can wire that into the back of your wreath. And then probably on the bottom, maybe either end, and maybe one at the bottom. You can do that same process I was showing you with the, felt and the chenille stem, okay? So that's an easy way to do your wood signs and your metal signs. Now we're going to move on to something a little bit heavier. Got a birdhouse, okay? Hi, Holly, how you doing? So birdhouse, attaching that, and these are heavy, okay? So you want to make sure this thing is going to be on there very secure. Depending on how thin this wood is on the back, I would use my O-ring or my O-hook. And since this is a thick piece of wood right here, I would probably drill a hole, because this is much, much harder wood. I really don't think I'm going to have much luck using this and my screwdriver. So I would drill a hole for my pilot hole and screw in the hook here, probably, and one up here. And then put some hot glue once you get that in there. Once that sets up, use your chenille stem and then attach that onto your wreath, okay? So that's an easy way to do heavy objects like this. Okay, so we've covered the flags, we've covered signs, whether it's a thick wood, a thin wood, metal. Now let's get into some of the plush items. So I have this adorable ladybug. This is felt, and it's covered over a piece of styrofoam, okay? How would I attach this to a wreath? Easy. If you have now don't laugh, I'm going to show you what I use. This, I don't have an ice pick. This is my trusty, does anyone know what that is? And it doesn't work anymore, but it has a super sharp point, and this is what I use when I want to poke a hole. So for something like this, I'm going to poke a hole here and one at the top. Okay, so I've got a hole here and at the top. I'm going to take my chenille stem, I'm going to bend it in half. I'm going to put some glue right along the tip. I'm going to find that hole and I'm going to press it and put it, well, I didn't make my hole big enough. Let me make it a little bit wider. I'm going to press that right down into the styrofoam, just like that. Once that's set up, I'm going to shoot a little more hot glue right around where the chenille stem comes out, and you're done. Super easy. Put one at the bottom, one up near its head, or you can put one right on its head if you want to. And once that's dry, this is not coming out, and then you can attach it that way. Okay? Same thing with football helmets. You know, we got college season coming up, homecoming games, football games, and this is hard plastic. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trusty meat thermometer. I highly advise get an ice pick, okay? And I'm just going to, wherever I want to put it. I usually put my hole, like, here's where the wire is attached, right here. I go up to the corner, right about there. And I'm just going to punch a hole. Just kind of, there we go. See the hole? Do the same thing. Oh, that's safer than, yeah, probably so. That's the way you attach it, Rhonda? Yeah. Same thing. Well, I'm not going to use the red, but put some glue on here. Put it down in the hole, like so. So it's going to be coming out the side like that. Let that set up, and then I'm going to shoot some hot glue around that and let it set up. that's not coming out, guys. Okay, then you can attach it right onto your wreath. Okay, and you only need one. Okay, next thing, soft plushy things. Okay, here's a football. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. So of course we want this part sticking forward. So on the footballs that I use, there's a seam that runs down the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, I'm just going to pinch it, and I'm going to cut 2 little slits. And I'm going to take my chenille stem, and I'm going to run it right through and pull it out the other side. See? Just like that. Pull that through. Then I'm going to shoot some hot glue right on top. And once that sets up, then you can take your chenille stem, put them together and twist them a few times, and then you can shoot maybe a little more glue down there. And now this is ready to be mounted right onto your wreath. Just like that, ready to go. Super easy. So keep that in mind on these football, basketball, stuff like that. The last thing I wanted to show you was the plush dolls. Okay, now this one I had made, and be honest with you, I can't remember her name, but I will look her up and I will post her name and contact information on my page. But she does custom made dolls, and this is Uncle Sam. Isn't he cute? I love him holding the flag. But since he's handmade, there's no, what do you call that that's inside? Like, you know, it's a little bag full of little rocks or sand. Typically, you'll find those in the store-bought. Like, I used a lot of these plush little attachments during Halloween, the witches and the ghosts and stuff that I bought at TJ Maxx and Hobby Lobby, stuff like that. And they all have that weighted piece that's inside, usually in the little seat area. Best thing to do, because you don't want that extra weight, I find where it's at, and I just take my scissors and I'll snip. And I'll just reach in there and pull it out. If there's a seam running across there, I'll get my seam cutter and I'll just kind of cut a little, just a little bit, you know, so you can reach in there and pull that out. And hang on to those. Don't ever, I don't throw nothing away, guys. Nothing. Hang on to those little bags of the sand or the little pebbles. Hang on to those, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But once you pull that out, now this is very lightweight, okay? Very lightweight. So you can either get you a needle and thread and just stitch that up, or what I do is I will take my chenille stem and I'll bend it in half and I will place it inside the seam, okay? I'll pull the fabric up over it and I'll stitch it, just maybe a couple, 3 or 4 little whip stitches, and then I'll put some hot glue on there, okay? So that's usually on the seat, and then I'll do another one here in the head, and I'll do the same process that I did with the football. I make 2 little slits, run the chenille stem through, and then shoot some hot glue in there, and then your plush is ready to be mounted onto your wreath. So that's it. Just remember, you want to make sure that if you're going to use a plush that you bought at a store, and you'll feel it, it's heavy, just find out, you know, where it's at. If there's a seam, go in through the seam, pull that little bag out, and then, you know, stitch it back up, or do like I did, you know, use your chenille stem, stick it into the seam long ways like this, do a couple of whip stitches, and then put some hot glue on there, and this is ready to go. And that's it. That is how easy adding these guys are. Now, if you remember back at during Easter time, you remember the big bunny heads with the bow tie and the little hat on his ears? I think, can't remember who made those. I think it was Bachman makes those. Anyway, that's just styrofoam, okay? So, but between his ears, he's got a long piece of string. I use that string, I'll cut that string in half and I'll attach it at the top, and then I use that same process down at the bottom of his neck. So let's say here's the top of his head, here's his ears, and I'll put that right there. You know, I just poke a hole with this, push that in, put some hot glue on there, just like I did with this. And that's how I attached the bunny head. So, you know, it's attaching these things. A lot of people, you know, they'll shy away from them, or they have a hard time figuring out how to do it. It's really super easy. You just got to kind of think, you know, what's the best way of going about it, and this is the methods that I've come up with. I think the most challenging item for me are the heavy ones, like something like this, which is very heavy, because if you're going to put it on the side, you have to counterbalance it on this side so your wreath is not hanging like that, right? So I try to weight this side down with, you know, extra things, so it kind of counterbalances the wreath, so when you hang it on the door, it's even. Okay, so this one is always kind of challenging for me, this or something heavy like this. So I hope that's been helpful for you guys. Like I said, I've been doing this now for 3 years, and this is the methods that I use to attach my embellishments, you know, my signs and whatnot. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, on those bags that you get out of the little plush animals or the little people or whatever, the reason why I hang on to those is when I make my centerpieces, especially if it's a centerpiece that might be a little top heavy, I'll put several of those down in the bottom underneath the styrofoam. That helps weigh it down. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. So I have a big baggie full of those. Over, you know, and my niece in Florida, she does the same thing. She'll pull them out for me and keep them. So that's the way I do it. But like I said, I don't throw away anything. I really don't. If you know, if there's something I think I can use maybe down the road somewhere, I hang on to it. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I have to purge everything and you know, get rid of it. But 9 times out of 10, I find a use for it. So I hope that's been helpful for you guys on how I do my attachments. And like I said, you know, I'm having a hard time seeing. Oh, you're welcome, Holly. No problem. I hope, you know, what I've explained here will be very helpful for you guys. And, you know, and hey, do me a favor, send me a picture of any of your creations, and let me see how you've attached it. I would love to see that. And so a couple other things I wanted to talk about was if you guys watched my Facebook Live that I did last Monday, I had a guest host, if you will, come on, and I had so many questions who this guy was. And his name is Jeff Roper. He is a local TV and radio celebrity here in town. He made the jump from radio, where he's been on radio in North Carolina, I think South Carolina, Florida, and here. And he made the jump to television about 3 years ago. And he and another lady, her name is Fiona, they were co-hosting an afternoon variety show called SA Live. And last September, I got a call from the SA Live producer wanting me to come on and demonstrate something. I said, well, that's great. So, you know, I get there to the studio, and I'm demonstrating how to make homecoming mums. And if you're not familiar with homecoming mums, here in Texas, those things are crazy. During homecoming time for the high schools, those big mums that you see the girls wear, and guys wear them too. And they're huge, and they're obnoxious, and they're loud, and they're colorful, and all sorts, and they have lights and blinkers and sounds and all that. Well, I went on there and demonstrated how I made them. And as soon as I walked in, I think Jeff could sense that I was real nervous, because I'd never been on TV before. Had no clue what I was doing. Was I going to get tongue-tied? Was I going to look stupid? You know, that sort of thing. And he came over and just started talking to me, and he calmed my nerves and just made me feel right at home. And the second time I was on there, he was my co-host, so it was him and I was demonstrating how to make centerpieces for Thanksgiving. And we had the best time. And I don't know, there was something about our personalities and the way we clicked. We just kind of played off each other, and it was just fun. And we just became, you know, good friends, and you know, we text each other and stuff. So I asked him, with his knowledge of broadcasting and how to conduct yourself on camera and all, I asked him, would he mind coming and give me some pointers so I could become more comfortable behind the camera and not using the same words I always use, and, you know, trying to break my habit of going and you know, stuff like that. And so he goes, you know what, let's do a Facebook Live together. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm like, okay, that's great. So he came over last Monday, and of course, if you saw the video, it was crazy. This man's crazy. I mean, he wanted to look in my refrigerator. You know, he's just so doggone funny, and he just had me cracking up. Well, because of all the craziness, a lot of people were like, who's this guy? I even had one lady ask me, was he my boyfriend? No, he's not my boyfriend. I'm married. I'm happily married. Been married for 21 years. No, he's just a real good friend, and he's just hysterical. I did have a couple people who sent me messages saying, enough with the silliness. I don't like this. Let's move on and get, you know, serious with the crafts. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Jeff. Okay, I'm planning on doing a Facebook Live once a month with Jeff. Okay, so I just want everyone to be ready for this. I'm going to continue doing my Facebook Lives like I'm doing tonight, just me. But once a month, Jeff will be over, and, you know, who knows what kind of craziness and silliness we're going to get into. But I think you guys can warm up to him. He's going to be fun, and he's teaching me a lot of stuff. You know, he's helping me set up my Facebook page. No, I'm sorry, not my Facebook page, but my website, because I'm eventually going to get away from Etsy, and I want to go right into my website. He's going to help produce some tutorials that I'm going to be putting out for you guys to buy. And he's going to be like behind the scenes. He's got all the equipment, and he's got all the knowledge, and I'm just blessed to have him to help me out. So I hope you guys will warm up to him. He's loads of fun, and but I will tell him when he comes over next month, we need to tone it down a little bit and get more serious on the crafts. And don't be looking in my refrigerator, and don't be looking in my stove. And if you are going to look at my stove, make sure you tell me so I can clean my stuff. Because I was like, oh God, he wants to look in my refrigerator. I have no idea what's in there, and I don't know if it's clean. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure, you can look in my refrigerator. He's a nut. He's a nut. But and I don't know if you guys saw where when he opened up the refrigerator, there was a jar of peanut butter in there. I never put peanut butter in the refrigerator. I have no idea how it got in there. Of course, we like Jif peanut butter. So I don't know if you guys caught him when he said choosy people choose Jeff instead of Jif. I was like, oh God, Jeff, really? So that's the backstory on Jeff Roper. And he's a dear friend, and his girlfriend and him and my husband and I are going to get together, and we're going to do dinner because my husband wants to meet him and I want to meet his girlfriend. So we're just going to be a big old happy family, and you know, he's not going anywhere. So I hope you guys open up your hearts and just have fun, you know. And like I said, you know, when I do a tutorial and he's here and we kind of get off track, just send me a message saying, hey, I didn't quite understand what you were doing, and I'll do a recap, you know, just like I did with the flags. I'll do a recap because I definitely want this to be very beneficial for you guys, and learn, and I want to share my knowledge with you. So, you know, let's just have fun with it. And let's see, does anyone have any questions they want to throw at me? Like I said, I will try and read everything and give you my answers. And of course, I will go back through everything and answer any questions that you guys have. And hey, do me a favor if you would. Share my video to your friends and your family, because you know, when you share these, more people can see it. It helps me get my company out there and you know, kind of bring the traffic back to my page. So I would really appreciate if you guys could share my video with your family and friends. And let's see, I guess that's it. So we covered the flags, the signs, the plush, let's see, the birdhouse or any heavy objects like that. We talked about my part-time co-host, Jeff Roper, and I guess that's it. So anyway, guys, hey, thank you so much for sharing your Saturday evening with me. I really appreciate it. And I have a couple good ideas coming up for a couple more Facebook Lives. One of them next week, I'm going to show you how to make a patriotic topiary. I never can say that word right. Topiary. This one's going to be darling. And I'm going to show you how to make that. We're going to do that probably towards the end of next week. And then I have another one that I'm kind of tossing around. And so I guess that's it. All right. So you guys have a good evening. Thank you so much. And hey, happy Mother's Day. If you're fortunate enough to have your mommy still around, give her a big hug and kiss and tell her how much you appreciate her, or your grandmother or your aunt or whoever is the most important woman in your life. I unfortunately don't have my mother anymore. She is with the Lord. I lost her, gosh, 30 years ago. But you know what? There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't celebrate her in my heart. So tomorrow will be kind of bittersweet, but I know she's down looking on me, and I hope I'm making her proud. So you guys have a blessed Saturday night. Have a fabulous Mother's Day, and I will see everyone next week with a whole new Facebook Live, and we're going to do a patriotic topiary, okay? So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.